Right now we are looking out at Morro Bay where you can see those gray skies and the case of the May grays that we had to start off our work week. And due to that cloud cover, we actually saw some lower temperatures along the central coast this week, and we are going to see that sticking around, and you can actually see that reflected here in the highs. So slightly below average temperatures for this time of year. So Santa Barbara at 64 degrees Santa Barbara's high at 64 degrees, Santa Maria 65, Santa Ynez 70, Paso Robles 82, and San Luis Obispo 69. So slightly cooler than it would typically be this time of year. So along the west beaches, that's where it's going to be coolest. So temperatures sitting around the mid 50s tomorrow by noon, and then getting up to 60 degrees by 3 p.m. and dropping back off to 58 degrees by 5 p.m. The coastal valleys just a tad bit warmer there. So in the morning around 50s, and then 1 p.m. hitting the peak at 68 degrees, and by the evening dropping down to 63 degrees. Now the interior valleys isn't touched by much of that cloud cover, so that's where it's going to be the warmest. You can see that reflected here because at 1 p.m. it's actually reaching a peak of around 80 degrees and then dropping down to 77 degrees at night. Now there's not much going on here on the radar, not a lot of activity, so much of what we are going to see this week is really reflected in those temperatures due to that low cloud cover. But in about 2 weeks, we do expect things to get a bit wetter, so relish this time where there's not much going on activity-wise. All right, so for our highs and lows, Santa Maria with a low of 50 and a high of 65. Lompoc, same with a low of 50 and a high of 65. Morro Bay with a low of 51 and a high of 62. Atascadero with a low of 48 and a high of 73. Making our way down, Shandon with a low of 42 and a high of 82. Los Osos with a low of 51 and a high of 62. And going further south, Cuyama with a low of 47 and a high of 83. Los Alamos with a low of 49 and a high of 67. Now taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we see Paso Robles with highs in the 80s up until Friday, and then dropping down into the mid 70s come this weekend. San Luis Obispo highs in the upper 60s with lows in the upper 40s. And then for Santa Maria, we see highs in the upper 60s as well with lows in the 50s range. Santa Barbara with highs in the upper 60s and lows in the mid 50s range. That is a look at your weather forecast. You can always head to KSBY or check out our app for more information.